The other day, I was having a conversation with several different people that I haven't seen in many years, but that I used to work with. And I turned on the extrovert and was, having a good time, having a conversation. And then I got back to my hotel room afterwards and I felt so much weird energy bubbling up that was like so awkward and like maybe a little ashamed and concerned and that, oh, why did I say that kind of a feeling. Have you ever been there?
Welcome to Your Passaggi Professor, a podcast for singers who want tools to bridge the gap between the hard skills we learn in music school and the soft skills we need to live focused, intentional lives. I'm your host, Sarah Neely, voice professor, director, and certified life coach. Each week, we'll talk about mindset, emotional regulation, boundaries, and more so you can navigate the passaggi of your life both on and off the stage.
So I'm in San Antonio for my first ever national NATS conference. I'm presenting with two of my colleagues and friends, which I'm super excited about. And I love being back in San Antonio. This is where I did my master's degree, so there's a lot of good memories, a lot of nostalgia, but there are also some bad memories associated and things coming up. And so it's really interesting to see and notice what's going on for me and what is my brain bringing up in this situation, especially after the first night bumping into so many people that I know in the lobby of the hotel. And I'm gonna kind of work through it with you because I have a feeling that this is a common situation that people experience. I'm also noticing another thing that's coming up for me on this trip, and it's sort of a scarcity comparison kind of mindset. And I've noticed that I have this image in my head of gnats based on the opinion of a former teacher. And that's not good or bad, but I do notice, and I have noticed that my opinion was very largely shaped by this person, which I think is my responsibility. And I think it's important that we notice these things so that we can decide, okay, is that really a belief that I want to take on? But I always had this feeling of Nats, especially as a student when I was performing and singing in Nats competitions, that it was very overwhelming and it was like too many big diva singer egos all in one room. We used to joke about it and like call it gnats, like with the G, like the annoying insect. I don't know if I needed to spell that out or not, but gnats thing and the ego thing, I think, was very largely influenced by one of my former teachers. But the scarcity thing definitely comes from my own insecurity as a singer, especially growing up. I feel much more secure now. Obviously, I've done a lot of work on my mindset and on my technique and all of that. But I can tell the pattern of that energy and those thoughts and those mindsets coming back up for me while I'm here. And at the same time, I happen to be able to meet up with my high school choir director, whom I adore and love so much. Ugh, she's a gem. And she always highly supported me and believed in me. But it's funny now because every time I see her, she likes to tell stories of me in high school and how like wild and nervous and like neurotic I was, which is funny. And I still am a little bit that. But it's just like I always had the nervous hands and I do all these like weird things with my hands, which I still kind of do to some extent, although I can keep it under control if I have to in a professional setting. And I would climb up the wall in the choir room. There's like a glass wall with like little ledges where there's a metal frame. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. But I would just get really excited and like, and climb up the wall. And so she always tells that story. And like, I guess at one point I was like standing on her desk, being frustrated about something, being all, wow. I don't know how this is going to come across, this whole story. But she loved it. She thought I was hilarious and goofy and neurotic, but like not in a concerning, need to be hospitalized kind of way. But, like we're sitting there and she's telling this story, and I started to notice a lot of different things pop up for me. Noticing that I'm maybe a little embarrassed, a little bit like I'm in a professional setting here and that's not who I am anymore. Like I am calmer and grounded and professional and those sorts of things. But I mean, I also enjoy the storytelling. I think it's funny. And I do, like, I am just like a goofy person. And I like that about myself in a lot of ways. But that also ties back to those other conversations I was having in the lobby. And then I left feeling like, oh, like, was I too goofy? Like, was I too awkward? Was I too weird? And even the scarcity and comparison mindset are so interesting. All of these situations kind of align because really what's happening is a lot of old patterns, old thought patterns, old behaviors. I don't know if you want to call them triggers or not, were coming up for me in that situation. And I think it's important to talk about that and to build awareness about it, because you get to decide if you want to continue that, if you want to continue those patterns, or if you want to make a change. And you have to be intentional about it, and you have to give yourself the power. You have to believe that that's possible for you. At first, my gut reaction was, oh, like, don't tell this story about me. It's embarrassing, and that's not who I am anymore. But then actually, as I've thought about it over the last couple of days, I love that story, and it is who I am. And I think it's important and powerful because that's the whole point of why I became a life coach. Like back then, I was not taught emotional regulation or stress management or coping skills that were healthy. And so I was a little bit of a chaos gremlin. And those feelings and those situations in some way or other led me to finding life coaching, falling in love with it, and feeling so passionate about having these tools and having these skills so that I can be a calmer, more grounded, more professional singer and teacher. So really, these situations create that uncomfortable, embarrassed, awkward feeling. But that's so important because that's giving you information, and that awareness is step one. But you have to build the skill and notice, what is it that you actually want? How would you want your future self to show up in a situation like that? So you always have to start with awareness. You have to sit in the discomfort. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable, make a decision, and then create a plan. And sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need a coach or a really good, solid, objective observer to help you see things from a different perspective and to give your brain some different options of how to think about things and situations, and thought swaps that you can have prepared for when you're in that situation the next time, to build yourself towards that newer version of you that you're working towards. I think about these things a lot with performance anxiety also. It's the same tools, it's the same situation in a different costume, basically. You have to notice that you have performance anxiety. You have to sit with it. You have to breathe and calm your nervous system. Move your body, move energy through your body. And importantly, you need to not expect it to magically disappear. Expect the performance anxiety. Expect that feeling, but have a plan. Sit with it. Breathe through it have thoughts on purpose ready so that when you notice that thought of, oh God, this is going to go horribly, or I'm going to forget all the words, you have to stop and tell yourself, I can do this. I know these words. I know that even if I make a mistake, I can get back on track quickly because I am prepared. And then run through some memorization checklists that you've built for yourself already, or things to that nature. Whatever it is, whatever the thoughts that come up for you in those situations, whether it's social anxiety, performance anxiety, you have to have had the experience enough to notice what your thought patterns and habits are in those situations to then create the next believable thought to help you redirect your brain in those moments of stress and tension. So it's another fairly short and sweet episode. I'm recording on the road again. This week I'm in my hotel room in San Antonio looking out over the Riverwalk, which is lovely. Not as lovely as being in Mexico with all the beautiful tropical flowers, but I'm still so excited to be here. I truly love going to sessions and master classes and things where I can learn. For me, those things like really refill my creative cup, my energy, and I enjoy it so much. And I'm really finding that the excitement of connecting with my friends from grad school and my previous mentors and voice teachers, and being able to connect with that and feel a sense of community while I'm here is so nice. It's so exciting. I'm just really grateful to be able to be here and to be presenting. It's such an honor, and I truly attribute that to the collaboration I have with my colleagues, and that is amazing and beautiful. And I think it's important. Collaboration and help, like coaching, all of these things are so important. We have to support each other and embrace the messy middle of all of these things. So what I want to leave you with today is to normalize being in process and being in that messy middle. You don't have to have all the answers yet. You just have to believe that it's okay and you can figure it out. Commit to one small specific thing you can try to make a change, to live your life more intentionally and be the person that you want to be, whether it's working on social anxiety, performance anxiety, sending cold emails to set up auditions, relationship anxiety, so many things. If you feel that uncomfortable feeling, it's a sign that there's something that you want to change, and there's nothing wrong with the feeling. Sit with it, breathe through it, make a decision, and do one small thing, one step at a time. Try one small step at a time.
Thank you so much for listening to Your Passaggi Professor with Sarah Neely. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review wherever you listen. This really helps the podcast reach more singers just like you. And if you're ready to learn the life skills that smooth the passaggi of your life, you can follow me on Instagram at Sarah Singer's Mindset. There's a link in my bio where you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter and learn more about working with me. See you next time.